Okay, next we have some community members to talk about Portland Public Schools. We have Jyoti and her daughter Nita, and also Hub. So they're here to talk about Portland Public Schools and especially the strike on May 1st that was so successful.
Hi, my name is Jyoti. Can you hear me? My voice is really soft.
Put it up to your
right
mouth. Speak it.
right up there. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I'll turn up the volume. Go ahead and talk as loud as you can.
Yeah, we're really tired. For the last 1 month, on April 2nd, the superintendent announced the closure of our school through an auto dialer that was sent to the families of Harriet Tubman. I'm a parent of Harriet Tubman Leadership Academy for Young Women. And since then, it's been like a tsunami hit us. We ran everywhere we could, knocked on every door we could to find out what we could do. So the reason this is important is we know that budget cuts affect all schools. It does affect education across the board. But schools that have a minority population, schools that where the core body is minority and low income, it affects them even more. And there's 2 schools that were closed recently on April 23rd were Humboldt and Tubman. And these are schools that have a majority African American population, Hispanic and low income. And these are high-performing schools. These are the schools that are actually closing achievement gaps. And Harriet Tubman is a school that's focused on math, science, and leadership. It's an all-girls public school. We were really attracted to this 4.5 years ago when we moved to Portland. Real estate agents told us, don't put your kids in Portland public schools. They're poorly funded, and they're always reorganizing. Maybe you'll be better off buying a home in Portland, in Beaverton. But we were so attracted by this idea, a school that was named after Harriet Tubman, in the heart of the African American community, and all girls, and focused on math and science and leadership, where these are the areas where women and women of color are underrepresented. We thought, how foolish can anybody be? How would anybody not support a school like that? So we enrolled our kids in, I have twin daughters, enrolled our kids there, and I volunteered full-time in that school for the last 4.5 years. What I didn't know is in this country that every time there's a budget cycle, it really affects public education. I'm from India. The way it's structured in India is different. All public schools get the same treatment. Mm-hmm. Here, it seems like because they are based, the funding comes from real estate, from property taxes, you automatically have divided the schools into rich schools and poor schools. I had no idea. Holly here, who's an active parent, she's from Taiwan. We were talking, there is no distinction like that in public schools. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is the private and public, but you have already unequal system where you have established a pyramid where at the bottom is the poor schools in the poor neighborhoods, and then you have the public schools in the rich neighborhoods, and above them you have the private schools. So you have that pyramid, which gets even more steep when you go to higher education, because even the kids from the bottom, if they are able to go to college, they can't afford it because higher education is so expensive. In India, higher education is subsidized. We do pay a little bit for school education. That's why we have this surplus of educated public. And here you have a bankruptcy of working force that cannot fill the jobs that are even available. And we thought, how great would it be to support a school in Northeast Portland where women and women of color can be trained in math and science, the high-paying jobs to fill the jobs in Intel, which is currently being filled by people from my country. We thought it was a no-brainer, right? But it doesn't seem like the board members are getting it. So, so we tried everything. We followed their process. We went to testify, we pleaded, we ran around trying to get funding. Nothing changed until May 1st. And on May 1st, Annie told me about the the strike, and we showed up at the BSC building. And then you want to tell me what happened after that?
Okay, so I'm a student at Tubman. I'm a senior in high school, and as my mom was saying, we followed the district's process, everything. We had a group of students and parents that would go testify in front of the board, but none of that worked, and they shut our school down on April 23rd. But then May Day came along, and the Grant High School students, they organized a strike, and they went to the BESC building, or the district office building, and they had a huge march. So we decided to direct them, because half of them didn't even know that Tubman existed, because even if we're in the same district. But we directed them to our school, which they didn't know was a block away, but they knew how to get to Lincoln High School, which was half a mile away. But so that's what we did, and we went to City Hall. We marched all the way down to City Hall, and the mayor came out and congratulated us for being great leaders in our community and doing what we have to do as students. But then they came up with $5 million on Wednesday that somehow magically appeared and was never there before. So now the district, the teachers union, and the city are in budget talks about this $5 million that they're going to give assistance to PBS, which is great for us, hopefully, if they decide to keep our school or reopen our school. So that's what we've been doing this past week. We've been trying to convince people that this school is not just a temporary thing that would just be around for 1 year and then maybe fade off into the distance. It will be a permanent solution to whatever the economic climate that we're in right now, and it'll provide jobs. It'll provide the workforce for the jobs that we need, which are being filled by outsourced labor in different countries. So that's what we've been doing. And yeah.
I just want to add that I think most of you probably have heard that when you don't invest on education, then you're going to put your money on prison. And in Taiwan, actually, we're already seeing that actually Taiwan copy a lot from America.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there are many things we really need to do it differently. And take this school as an example. As we said, it's an all-girls school. It's focused on science and math. It's a relatively new school. But if you look at the history of this school, I felt so guilty that I put my daughter there because I felt that I did not do my homework. But you, as a citizen, you would never expect your your PBS and board of members would work this way. Let me give an example. The first year, the school was not allowed to recruit. The second year, they have some rumors about closing it up. And then the third year, the real proposal of closure happened. In that situation, how do you expect this school to grow? My parents grow oranges. When they grow that, they were told, you have to wait the 5th year to really get your oranges. Because the first year you have oranges, they taste sour. The second year you have oranges, they're big, but they don't have water. The third year, they might taste a little bit good, but their skin is very thick. So it doesn't taste good. It's the 5th year that you actually get your real oranges. But our board members want us to grow in 1 day. And then when you don't grow, they say, you're bad oranges, we'll just kill you. So please, check out our board members. Tell them, invest on education. We maybe have 4 teachers more now, but you're going to get way much back later. Thank you.
So May 11th, we are joining the Upset March to Pioneer Square. And in June, we want to have a big open house to invite the whole city to come and join us and see what they're going to lose. I do want to acknowledge Teresa Ryford, who is contesting for city commissioner. She has abandoned her campaign many times to connect us with community members, and I think that's commendable. So please join us in June. We are planning a major open house at Tubman, and I'd love for everyone to come and see what the city will be losing. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Okay, we have one more announcement.
Okay, so at Harriet Tubman we have a news network called the Tubman News Network. It's on YouTube if you look it up. But we are also hoping that anybody who's interested here or anybody that you might know, we would be really, really happy to interview your organization or a representative from your organization, because this is a news network that we want to expand for the entire community to use, and not just for our school, but it's started there. So if you want to be on it, then please come to our table over there and give us your information. Thank you.